Welcome to day 19 of revision for UPSC 2027. In this video, I am going to cover the third essay which was asked in the year 2025. I already covered two essays, and if you want, you can go into the playlist and watch those essays as well. Now, I want to clear two things first. Number one, when I am recording, there is heavy rain outside, so you might get some background noise of the rainwater or maybe lightning. Number two, we are in practice, so you will see these kind of headings in the essay, headings or flow chart, flow diagram. But when you write actual essay, whether in your mock or in your exam, whenever you do not give these kind of, you do not need to give these kind of headings. You just start from here and just continue it in paragraphs. Okay. But since we are in practice, so you will see these kind of headings. It will help in developing the acumen for writing the essay. Okay. So let's get started. Essay number 3, 2025. Thought finds a world and creates one also. The dual engine of human consciousness. In the spring of 1610, Galileo Galilei published Sidereus Nuncius, the starry messenger, detailing his observations through a primitive hand-grind telescope. When he trained his lens upon the moon, he did not find the smooth, perfect celestial sphere dictated by Aristotelian cosmology. Instead, he discovered a rugged, cratered world of mountains and valleys. Yet, Galileo's act of contemplation did not stop at mere observation. The thought that decoded the physical reality of the cosmos simultaneously birthed a new intellectual world, a world anchored in empirical inquiry, mathematical modeling, and the scientific revolution. This, histor- this historic epic illustrates the profound duality of human cognition. Thought finds a world and creates one also. At its core, human thought operates as a dual engine. First, it acts as an instrument of discovery, an epistemological tool that pursues, decodes, and comprehends the pre existing objective realities of the natural universe. Second, thought functions as an engine of creation, an ontological force that constructs social, political, institutional, and technological worlds that never existed in nature. The physical universe is discovered through reasons, but the human world, recomplete with states, laws, moralities, economies, and digital realms, is fundamentally imagined and built by thought. Understanding this dialectic between discovery and creation reveals how human civilization evolves, how social structures endure or crumble, and how ethical responsibility must govern the future world building endeavors of humanity. Thought finds a world, epistemic inquiry, and the uncovering of reality. The assertion that thought finds a world rooted in the philosophical tradition of realism. The physical universe exists independently of human perception, governed by fundamental laws of gravity, thermodynamics, and cellular biology. However, this universe remains silent and unintelligible until human thought applies empirical observation, systematic reason, and theoretical modeling to uncover its hidden order. In the domain of physical sciences, thought operates as a spotlight illuminating objective truth. When Isaac Newton observed the fall of an apple, his contemplation did not invent gravity. Rather, his thought found the universal law that binds planetary orbits to earthbound mechanics. Centuries later, Albert Einstein's thought experiment, Gedanken Experimenten, probed deeper into the cosmos, uncovering the warped fabric of spacetime and the equivalence of mass and energy, E equal to mc square. Modern scientific endeavors, from the James Webb Space Telescope mapping early galaxies to the Large Hadron Collider, isolating the Higgs boson, are extension of this foundational impulse, using disciplined thought to discover the world as it actually is. Beyond physical space, thought finds reality within the internal architecture of human nature and ecology. Ancient Indian philosophy, through the Upanishads and the Sankhya tradition, applied rigorous introspection to discover the nature of self, Atma, and the interconnectedness of material existence, Prakriti. Similarly, modern ecological science has uncovered the intricate nonlinear feedback loops that sustain Earth's biosphere. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) reports do not manufacture ecological crises. They utilize systematic scientific investigation to reveal the objective biogeochemical realities of planetary warming. Thus, finding a world requires cognitive humility. It demands that thought submit itself to empirical evidence, falsifiability, and rational scrutiny. When thought successfully finds the world, it grants humanity the gift of literacy in the book of nature, converting raw sensory chaos into structured, actionable knowledge. And create one also. The ontological magic of human imagination. Yet, if thought were merely a passive mirror reflecting objective reality, human existence would be indistinguishable from that of other biological species. The true qualitative leap of civilization occurs because thought does not remain content with discovery. It aggressively pivots to creation. Thought creates a world. In his treatise Sapiens, historian Yuval Noah Harari notes that the unique superpower of Homo sapiens lies in the ability to construct imagined realities, fictions sustained not by physical matter but by collective belief. Nature provided oceans, forests, and human beings, but thought created nations, legal constitutions, currencies, and human rights. A banknote has no intrinsic ecological value. It is a piece of paper on a or a digital ledger. Yet, because shared human thought imbues it with value, it constructs global financial architecture capable of lifting billions out of poverty or plunging empires into crisis. Consider the creation of the political world. In 1946, as India stood on the precipice precipice of independence, the architects of the Indian Constitution convened in the Constituent Assembly. Drafting the Constitution was not an exercise in discovering an existing physical object, it was a deliberate act of world creation. B.R. Ambedkar and his contemporaries took abstract thoughts, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, and forged a constitutional republic out of a deeply hierarchical, fractured society. They translated thought into Articles 14, 15, and 21, establishing a normative world governed by constitutional morality and rule of law. Similarly, in the economic sphere, Adam Smith's conceptualization of the invisible hand in The Wealth of Nations did not merely describe 18th century trade, it created the modern capitalist world. Karl Marx, critic of capital, created a rival ideological world that reshaped global geopolitics throughout the 20th century. In literature and art, thought manifests completely new emotional and aesthetics universes. Rabindranath Tagore's poetry or William Shakespeare's dramas do not simply report reality, they create internal landscapes of empathy, beauty, and moral conflict that permanently alter how human beings experience life. The dialectical synthesis, how found realities fuel created worlds. The relationship between finding a world and creating a world is not sequential or isolated. It is a continuous dialectical loop. Found realities provide the raw material and boundary conditions for created worlds, while created worlds in turn open new horizons for further discovery. This interaction is most visible in the evolution of technology and science. When 19th century physicists found the physical laws of electromagnetism, Maxwell's equation, that discovery immediately powered engineers to create a new world, a world illuminated by electric grids, connected by telegraphs, and eventually animated by microprocessors. Today, the created world of the internet and high performance computing has provided new instruments that allow astrophysicists to find gravitational waves and dark matter. Discovery fuels creation, which expands the frontier of discovery. This dialectic also this dialectic also governs human social evolution. Early human societies discovered the biological reality of seasonal plant cycles. The Neolithic Revolution. That discovery allowed them to create permanent agrarian settlements, legal systems, and urban civilizations. In modern times, the discovery of environmental limits through climate science is forcing humanity to create new socio-economic paradigms. The circular economy, green hydrogen finance frameworks, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. When thought balances discovery and creation, progress unfolds. The creation is anchored in the truth of nature, and the discovery is directed toward the upliftment of human life. The pathology of unbalanced thought, when creation ignores discovery. However, the power of thought to create a world carries immense peril when it becomes divorced from the world it must find and respect. When human creation ignores objective, physical, ecological, or moral realities, created world degenerate into catastrophic illusions. The Industrial Revolution unleashed unprecedented human creative genius, building modern cities, transportation networks, and global markets. Yet, this world was created on a flawed assumption that nature was an infinite sink for industrial waste and an inexhaustible reservoir of resources. Thought created a hyper consumerist world while ignoring the ecological laws it was bound to discover. Today, that hubris manifests as planetary crisis, climate disruption, biodiversity loss, and ocean acidification. The created world of economic growth is colliding violently with the discovered boundaries of Earth's ecological systems. In political history, the danger of unanchored thought is equally stark. Totalitarian ideologies of the 20th century, such as fascism and Stalinist communism, were grand created worlds of absolute social engineering. The architects of these regimes attempted to force human nature into ideological molds, ignoring the irreducible reality of human dignity, individual liberty, and moral conscience. The result was structural violence, total surveillance, and the destruction of millions of lives. As the philosopher Hannah Arendt observed, when political thought substitutes its fabricated fictions for factual reality, it lays the groundwork for totalitarian horror. In the contemporary digital era, this pathology manifests in the creation of algorithmic echo chambers and post truth politics. Generative artificial intelligence and social media platforms have created virtual worlds where synthetic information can decouple public discourse from objective facts. When thought prioritizes manufactured narratives over discovered empirical truth, democratic institutions fracture, public trust erodes, and social cohesion collapses. The future frontier, world building in the era of emerging technologies. As humanity navigates the 21st century, the world creating power of thought has reached an unprecedented exponential scale. We are no longer merely building tools. We are creating alternative realms of existence and cognitive agents that challenge the definition of thought itself. Consider the rise of artificial intelligence and the metaverse. Through advanced algorithms, human thought has created virtual worlds where individuals work, socialize, and transact entirely in digital space. Simultaneously, synthetic biology and CRISPR genetic gene editing technologies enable scientists to re engineer the genetic code of life itself. Thought is no longer just observing the biological world, it is actively reauthoring the evolutionary blueprint. This unprecedented capacity for world creation demands a corresponding elevation in ethical consciousness. As we create worlds within silicon chips and biological labs, our thought must remain tethered to fundamental ethical anchors such as environmental stewardship, human dignity and equity, and constitutional morality. World creation must respect the physical constraints of the biosphere, transitioning from carbon intensive paradigms to regenerative, climate resilient frameworks. SDG 12 and 13. Created socio-economic system must prioritize inclusive growth, ensuring that technology bridges structural divides rather than exacerbating wealth inequality, or digital exclusion. Digital governance, artificial intelligence, and global institutions must be bounded by transparent, accountable frameworks that protect individual autonomy and human rights. As the Indian philosopher Sri Aurobindo envisioned, the evolution of human consciousness must involve a transition from the lower egoistic mind to a higher integrative consciousness, one that synthesizes analytical knowledge of the universe with a holistic, compassionate vision for its transformation. The moral imperative of the conscious mind. Thought finds a world and creates one also is not merely an intellectual observation. It is a profound declaration of human responsibility. We are neither passive spectators stranded in an indifferent universe, nor are we unfettered gods entitled to construct reckless illusions without consequence. We are stewards of a rare and brilliant gift, the conscious mind. When thought looks outward with curiosity, rigor, and intellectual honesty, it finds a world uncovering the breathtaking harmony of physical laws, the delicate balance of ecosystems, and the shared vulnerability of the human condition. When thought then turns inward with courage, empathy, and vision, it created a world-building just institution, inspiring art, life-saving medicine, and peaceful international orders. The ultimate test of human civilization lies in ensuring that the world we create remains in ethical, harmonious alignment with the world we find. As we stand at the threshold of a future defined by rapid technological change, climate transition, and geopolitical shifts, our world building must be guided by wisdom. By anchoring our creative imagination in empirical truth, ecological limits, and universal compassion, human thought can continue to fulfill its highest destiny, discovering the wonder of the cosmos while creating a world where dignity, justice, and life can eternally flourish.